First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this very special launch. I am, of course, talking to Heather Henderson. Can you first of all give us your title and how long you've been at Cervelo for?
I am Cervelo's Senior Product Manager, and I started in April of 2013.
Now, you've actually been in the cycling/triathlon industry for quite some time. I believe you started in a bike shop back in '96. Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give us a brief rundown? I know it's going to be, your CV is thicker than the encyclopedia, although they don't really have encyclopedias anymore, but, it would take up a lot of RAM on a computer. Give us a bit of a rundown on your experience in the bike industry.
I've worked at a number of retail locations. I've worked in a custom steel frame shop with a really brilliant mentor. I've worked for a number of other competitive bicycle companies, some of the bigger makers. I've worked for DT Swiss, and I worked for Quality Bicycles in the US.
And now you've moved into this role, which is something I guess you've been passionate about for a while, and it's an opportunity, I guess, for you to spread your wings and do some different things to what you've done in the past. Tell me, why are we here? I mean, I know, but I've had to keep my mouth shut. Can you give us a bit of an idea on why you've invited the media to this special location in San Diego?
We're here to unveil our new super duper P2, and it's really exciting. The P2 is one of those platforms that's a cult favorite, and I say cult favorite, but it's not. It's very popular. It's the most popular model in Ironman since 2005. And the platform, our classic P2, lasted for 7 years. And that really speaks to just how popular it was and how well it was made, that a platform could have that amazing run of success.
So why now are you upgrading the classic P2?
We have started at the top of the line. So last year in January, we brought to market the P5, and it had a lot of new technologies. We learned a lot of things about aerodynamics, cable routing, structural stiffness, weight, things like that. We brought many of those technologies into the P3 that we also introduced into the market last year. And now at the entry level, we are finally bringing those technologies to the P2.
So, our site's about women in triathlon, but we do have a lot of guys who check it out as well. But I'm going to come at you from a women-specific angle. You've introduced the P2 and, of course, the P3, and you've got the much smaller frames. You've got a bike that also is easily adjustable for the different shapes and sizes, easy to travel with, because when do you actually ever do a triathlon, in your backyard? Right. So did you have women in mind when you were thinking about making these changes to these kind of bikes?
We absolutely did. Yep. We had everyone in mind. So at Cervelo, we don't differentiate athletes between men and women. So we think that people ride bikes, and there are people that ride bikes in certain type of competitive atmosphere, and we have found that the female athlete here has a lot of the same goals, performance goals, is approaching the sport much the same way. And so we don't think of this as a men's bike. Yep. This is an athlete's bike. Yep. And so we don't really differentiate at that point because she's just as much of an athlete.
No pink.
No pink. Because I can't get hate mail for it.
I'd be on the top of that list if it was pink, that's for sure. Now talk us through the changes that you made from the classic P2 to today's P2 and how the athlete's going to benefit from it.
Yep. The biggest change that's really going to benefit what we think are the most people is really about the fit. Yep. So the classic P2, it was the last model in the line that didn't have the new geometry. Our new geometry has a shorter reach and a higher stack. We use a standard 1.1" steer tube so that you can fully customize the front end with any parts that you want to put on it. We actually have a profile design bar on here that itself is really adjustable. You can get a really wide stance with the pads or as narrow as you like as well. And so there's a lot of versatility in the fit on this bike, and that allows people to really get comfortable. And if you're comfortable, there's a definite benefit to performance there. We've really increased the aerodynamics on this model as well. Specifically, we've dropped the down tube. This actually moves the down tube lower in space. It closes this gap between the tube and the wheel and makes it more aerodynamic. Same thing in the rear here. We have the extended rear wheel cutout. We've shortened this gap so that, again, you have better airflow over the back of the bike. We've also gone to aero cable management and future-proof cable system. And that lets people use any component group they want to use, whether it's electronic, mechanical, or hydraulic, and it also increases the overall aerodynamics of the bike. So there's a lot of technology packed into this very, very affordable package.
And well, speaking of affordability, we're looking at 2,800 in North America, yes, which I think equates to about 3,100 in Australia, depending on all that stuff. So your object is to aim this, I guess, at an entry-level bike with the option and the availability to add on to that later on without getting rid of what essentially is a top-notch frame with top-notch technology taken from your P5?
Absolutely. You know, the P5 is absolutely the benchmark and the fastest bike out there. It's also $10,000. Yeah. You know, and
I'll have 7, thanks.
And you know, not everyone can afford that, but it doesn't mean that they don't want those technologies. And so we really, really tried to make sure that we were bringing it to people at an entry-level price point, and it does give them room to grow. You know, this comes with a great set of Shimano 501 wheels. You know what? Shimano makes some really nice aerodynamic wheels also that you could upgrade to, or the other brands that you're loyal to or that your favorite. Same with your group kit or your handlebars. That's the neat thing, is we like to focus on the frame, because the frame is the skeleton. Yeah. And it's the bones, and this bike has great bones, and from there you can do whatever you want to it.
It's got great bone structure. So great. High cheek. So basically, someone walks into a shop and they want a Cervelo. That's it. They don't care about anything else. They want a Cervelo. You've now set up, I guess, your Cervelo range across, you know, triathlon and road bike. To make it easy to make that decision. Essentially, it's like, well, what can you afford? This is going to suit you. Is that, you know, a fair way to look at it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, that person who wants the P5 and comes in and says, oh, I want that, but I can't. Yeah. You know, we can bring them through the line of bikes and say, what are you doing? What can you afford? What are you using it for? What's appropriate for you? And then we have these clear price points that they're going to be satisfied with, whatever level they fall into.
Cool. Now, one thing that I think's really awesome about this, I mean, there's plenty of awesome things about the bike, but is the ability to pop a drink bottle down here. Now, can you still do this, put a drink bottle on the smallest frame? Will it still fit there?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, great. So
this is built for bottles, so even though...
that's where I was going, but good. You know a lot better than me.
Even though using the bottle is not technically more aerodynamic, we knew that people would put a bottle there. Yep. So we did make it more aerodynamic than it would have been if we wouldn't have considered it. And we do that with our built for bottle technologies. We actually flatten this area, and what it does is it allows the bottle itself to kind of complete this airfoil shape, and it lets the air flow over it more smoothly.
Now, this is a very aero bottle, but can you just put a regular round
Absolutely.
Drink bottle on there as well?
This is a standard water bottle mount.
Yep.
There's also a Boss here for storage solutions. There are aftermarket companies that we have provided our drawings and dimensions with who are in the process of developing some storage solutions.
And I can see there's a bit of X-Lab on here. There's also storage solution up here as well, so you don't have all those gels across the top.
Absolutely. They also make this wonderful incorporated water and hydration solution, and our seat post is designed for use with that. Super aerodynamic.
And is that the same with the P3?
It is.
Yep. So really, if you just say that this bike is, it's an entry-level bike, like that's who you're looking at essentially, things like little differences like this will be amazing for those people who are, you know, still getting used to riding a TT bike and feeling comfortable without having to reach all the way back. They can just grab it, what they're used to from a road bike. So it seems like you've listened to what the end consumer needs and wants, and tidied it all up in this nice little package. Thank you so much. It's an honour to actually talk to you and meet you face to face. Someone with so much knowledge and passion and expertise, and they've put us up in this awesome house on the beach. So life
really
isn't...
Good food.
Oh, amazing food. In-house chef. I've got a chef at home anyway, so it's been a great experience, and thank you very much.
It's been fun to meet you, Steph.
Cheers.